Right, we're moving on to this new section. This is counter weapon defences for the street. Now, again, in hand-to-hand combat, military forces would learn to defend against all manner of weapons and also be able to use all manner of weapons as well. Now, what we're going to do here is look at some conventional weapons attacks and some others that are more extreme. Now, whether you actually find yourself in this situation or not, it's not really as important as me trying to outline the type of training that Special Forces operatives will use. And you're getting that information so that you know exactly how they train and the defences they'll deal with. Now, before we move into the weapons themselves, I just want to deal with a subject that's in there as well. And it's something that's not really talked about in most martial arts systems, simply because we tend to take it that all the time we're on the winning side and that we're in control. Well, let's take it if you're not in control and what you need to do. So, in this situation, I've been hit with a shot. This guy's got his shot in, he's already stunned me and hit me. Now, what are you going to do from that situation? Where are you going to go? So we've got to train our mind, the same military mindset of 100% conviction. The only way you can go is in. If you back off, you're going to have problems. So if I get hit with that right hand shot and that knocks me back and he carries on, he's just going to steam in there and knock me down to the floor. So my senses tell me if I'm hit, boom, and that hits me, I'm going to come in close and begin to clear my head. If Tom hits me now, there's nowhere for him to go. And I start biting and working my way behind it. Now he's got more difficult to hit me. I'm clearing my head gradually, and then I come back to the technique that we've done earlier on. This is buying me final time now to regain my senses and make my escape. So you need to train your mind to do this. This is difficult. Most people are always talking about, yeah, well, I'll move in, I'll do this, I'll do that. Let's look at, if you are hit, where are you going to go? So if I've still stood up, I need to close that gap and stop him from punching me further. Then I start working the vital areas and getting myself behind it. Once I get behind, now I'm in a better position to clear my head, start biting the body, grabbing the groin and taking him to the floor. Now I need to be aware while all this is going on that he may well have a weapon on him, and we need to be aware of what he's doing. So if his hand's reaching in the belt, there may be a weapon there. So again, I'm just going to hug him, hold him and stop him from drawing it long enough to come in and finish it. But it's an area that's not often addressed, and it's important that we understand where to go if you do get hit and hurt. And that's to seek shelter inside rather than back away. If I back away, I'm just going to get continually hit and kicked, and now I've got problems. Okay? Alright, while we're talking about this subject, something else that we just bring into this, because it is relevant as well. We looked at earlier on techniques of biting. We're also going to look at how to defend against those. In the street, this is probably one of the number one attacks from close range where somebody will try and bite you. So we're just going to look at a couple of tactics to stop that from happening. If we get into some sort of clinched position here, the danger is that my neck is exposed as much as my opponent's. So if I get to this position and I feel he's moving to bite, I'm going to control his jaw with the heel of my hand. This stops him from initiating that bite. And now he can't turn his head. So if you feel the teeth hit the neck, then lock it in with the heel of your hand and stop this from happening. Then you can start counter-attacking straight away. Now, if the teeth actually sink into you here, to pull away is going to cause a lot of damage and trauma as you rip back on the neck. So from this position, I'm going to keep him close to me. I'm going to use my forearm and strike him on the base of the skull. Now because his teeth are clamped on my neck, when I hit the base of the skull, it's basically going to smash his teeth and break straight down. So back here, hit him on the base of the skull with the top fist, or the forearm. Rather than pulling away, come in and strike. And that effectively stops them from using the leverage. Because they can't shut their mouth down, they can't cause damage. Just one more sort of point on this. Sometimes within a grappling situation, the man might latch on and grip hold of your arm. Now again, if I was to pull away from there, I'm going to get a lot of damage. Again, I can't show this technique completely here because it is a powerful move, but from this position, all I'm going to do is hit my own fist with my heel hand. My forearm drives straight through the teeth and it will snap them off at the gums. So that technique will knock the man out and down at the same time. So rather than pulling away from a bite, you're going to drive through it and smash your forearm into his throat, and that will stop him from actually puncturing the flesh. Alright, we're looking to dealing with some situations with a knife or any type of sharp implement. What we're going to discuss first of all here is actually somebody going to pull a knife, whether it be from their belt or from their pocket. When you're confronted by anybody that's giving you aggression, you need to make sure that you see their complete body and never lose sight of their hands. So if we get involved in any type of verbal conversation here, gradually I can get tunnel vision, which prevents me from seeing what he's doing with his hands. And by the time he's drawn that weapon, he could have stuck that into me. And this is where a lot of people get caught. And when you have tunnel vision, you lose 70% of your peripheral vision. And that's a massive load of vision gone. So it means all you're looking at is what you can see in front of you. And it's like looking through a toilet roll holder. That's about as much as you can see. So if this guy is going to do anything with his hands, particularly if he's got a weapon, you won't be able to see it. Now earlier on I mentioned about the ever-increasing heart rate and the effects of adrenaline. Well, tunnel vision is one of these. It's a big one. And this is why so many people get blindsided, particularly by glasses or weapons, because they can't see them. So the idea is to stay further away so that I can use some peripheral vision, so that I don't get caught up like a sort of rabbit in the headlights of a car. So when I see this, I can see his hands. If he moves to pull that blade, I'm just going to step in and stop him from doing this by pressing my arm onto his. This prevents him from pulling that weapon from his belt. Okay. So I see him go for this and I push. Now from here, I'm back to the strikes that we practiced earlier on. At the same time, I'm going to drive him back with those strikes, giving him no chance at all to draw the knife. And it looks like this. Driving him back, okay? And once more, it's that rapid fire barrage of strikes, putting him on the back foot and giving him no chance to bring that weapon into play. So as soon as his hand goes down, I've jammed that solidly. Now it's difficult for him to pull that weapon out. And then I hit with the heel hand and drive him back. Hammer fist, heel hand, elbow, all coming through. At the same time, I'm hanging on to that arm. Now this is where, if we go back to those groups, motor skill movements, this is where they work really, really well, because I'm just using the one hand repeatedly at the same time holding on to the weapon. So I don't have to change grips, I just keep firing the shots that are available to me all the time. Bang, through, in, until the man goes down. We're not going to go looking for the blade or taking it away, because that's not your job. If you're in a security personnel or police, etc., that may be your job. Self-defense is to finish it as fast as you can. If for any reason that hand pops out with the knife in it, as long as you've got control of it, you just carry on striking, and he will not be able to use that knife back. So, look out for the hand. If somebody is stood and their hand is cut behind their back, then take it that they've got a knife there. Don't ever stand and engage in conversation, because that blade's going to come out. So a good tactic to get this guy to bring the knife out into the open is to actually approach it so that you've seen it. So we might be in this confrontation and I will say to him, "What have you got behind your back?" "Nothing." "Well, let's see then. Show me your hands then." Okay, so what it's done, it's made him bring that knife out into play. So if he happens to pull out a big bunch of red roses, then great, it's, you know, it's my birthday. But if he pulls a knife out, then at least now we're on an equal term. If I don't see it and he stabs me with it, there's nothing I can do. But now, at least I can make a decision what to do when he brings it out. So, if you see the hands, demand to see them. Show me your hands. What you got in them? I see them then. Show me them. Now I can see what it is. So if I decide to step in, attack him and drive him down, I'm just going to keep going. Yeah? And I'm not giving him a chance at all to fight back. Now there's a great example of attacking the attacker. There was no chance of Tom using that knife on me simply because he's under fire from a barrage of strikes. You can't fight back from that. If I give him time and start thinking about maybe twisting his arm around or something, we get into this fight and he's going to batter me all over the place. What I've done was to attack him and drive him down. And there's no way he's going to stand up to that whatsoever. Okay? So this is using that raw aggression. Against a knife-wielding attacker, if you can't run away from him and you've got to fight, then you go in wholeheartedly. And there's no way that man can stab you if you are going forward using those man-stopping techniques that we showed and 100% aggression and attitude behind them. That's what's going to get you through this rather than any fancy sort of wrist twist. Okay? Alright, let's look at some other different scenarios with the blade. This one's coming from behind where the knife is being held to the throat of the neck. Now normally this is some sort of negotiating tool. The person wants you to do something, whether it's to give them your money, your car keys, or to walk you somewhere. In this day and age there with terrorist threat, a lot of people have found that, you know, in confined spaces, airplanes, etc., there's the danger of suddenly somebody pulling a blade. And there's been many situations of this. Knowing what to do might be the difference between you saving your life and a lot of other people as well. So it's worth looking at these techniques. So if the person is holding that blade and maybe they're talking to me, they're wanting something, or they're walking me, I need to be aware where that knife is. Earlier on we've done a defense against the choke. It's very similar. From here when I make my move, I'm going to put those two hooks in and drop my chin down. If he uses the knife at all, it will cut my chin. It won't cut the neck, and that is the difference. You can live with this, that is all over. So as I clamp down, I know that he can no longer cut the neck. From here, if I can get it, I'm going to bite straight through the hand. The blade is gone. Even if it's still there, I start driving back with those elbows, hammer fist in the groin, and we're back over to those basic techniques that we've been practicing right the way through. Here, you wait. Find out what it is they want. As soon as you begin to walk with them, you'll try and talk to them. Look, anything you want. All right, look, okay, all right, just relax, okay? Drive down. Now he can't cut the throat. Look for the hand bite. Bite the hand, not the arm. If they're wearing a jacket, it's not going to work. The hand though, and we're looking to hit this target here. Alright, there's a set of nerves in there. If you get your teeth into it, it involuntarily opens the hand for you. So when that knife blade is held tight, this small mound sits up. And that's the area that we're going to drive down into. If the blade's gone, that's great. Otherwise, hold it. And then start driving back, hitting through, over, if you need to disarm and take it away. Also from this position, I can turn straight back. If I pull this down and turn my body sharply, I can come back. Okay, and you can see what's happening here. So I'm literally returning the knife back to the attacker. So just my outward body movement of turning here will send that blade back. And if the man sees this, he's aware of it, he pulls his body away, he doesn't want that to happen, and you can come out underneath. And then you're in position to follow in with those major strikes. Here, I'm down, get hold of the hand. As soon as I turn my body, the blade is going back. Here, It's a danger now that he's going to end up stabbed with the blade. Turn out and then smash her through and back into those basic techniques to finish. Okay, we're looking at another hold-up situation. This is a knife to the side of the neck from the front here. Again, as soon as this blade comes, my hands are up, already in submissive posture. So whatever the man wants from me, I'm going to give it. So if he's asked for my money or my car keys, whatever, I'm going to give them to him. So if Tom asks for the car keys...
Give me what?
Okay, it's in my pocket, alright? Can I get it?
Yeah, get it.
Alright, come on. Alright, yes! And then I'm going to drive straight up the middle. Now, what I've done here, first of all, I've led his mind away from the blade. He sees my hand going for the wallet, so he doesn't see it as a threat. He's asked me for it, and that's what he thinks he's going to get. So already, part of his mind is thinking that he succeeded in what he intended to do. While he's thinking of this, this is the time now to initiate the attack. I'm just going to hook down on that wrist, putting the knife away, and at the same time, drive that palm heel strike straight up the middle into the chin, underneath the nose. Once we do this, then we just carry on the striking techniques that we've been practicing all day. Not worried about disarming the knife, I'm just going to keep hold of the hand long enough to take the threat away. And the threat is the man. The knife on its own is not a threat. It's the intention behind it and how this person tends to use it that's the threat. So from here again...
Give me what I...
Okay,
Come on, get out here.
Can I get it?
Yeah, hurry up now, come on.
Yes! And we follow it down to its conclusion. Alright, when a knife is in free play and somebody's actually slashing and stabbing with it, it's very difficult to get a grip onto that blade. If you attempt to do this, you're going to likely end up being cut or stabbed. Simply as that knife is moving around all over the place, then it's difficult. When I make a grab, I'm leaving myself open to being stabbed or to being hit with the other hand and then re-stabbed again. So, to open out your body against this form of frenzied attack is not the thing to do, it's to cover it in. Yes, you will get cut, but you're going to get cut on the less lethal parts of your body. That's going to be your forearms. You're going to protect your vital organs, and as soon as you get the opportunity, then you're going to attack the attacker. So avoid this type of movement, and do it slowly with open hands gripping, because I'm going to get stabbed in those vital points. Cover up, take those slashes, and then follow back in aggressively. So again, I'm not going to stand there forever taking untold punishment, but I may have to take 4 or 5 cuts to get my shot in. Now this is going to require lots of aggression and lots of stamina and mindset to go through the attack or fight through that pain. But this is the reality of knife techniques. This is not choreographed knife defences as you would see, in a martial arts dojo, where somebody may step in with a knife thrust and the person steps to the side and does some nice technique there. Okay, that's all great in the training pool. The reality is if somebody's frenzied enough to attack with a blade, they're going to come in from all angles. They're going to be shouting, screaming and trying to puncture you with this. So it's just coming in, barrage of strikes, making sure that you protect your vital organs and limit the damage. If we slow this down, my arms are covering my vital point. Then I find the opportunity to strike through and keep battering into the floor. And like I said earlier on, if you keep up that constant attack, it's very difficult for the man to stab you. This is the way you need to go if you're dealing against a frenzied knife assault. Alright, now we're moving on to dealing with firearms. Now obviously this is another level up from a knife attack, and we've got to be prepared and trained to be able to take a firearm away from somebody. So although it's not something that I recommend, somewhere along the line maybe we might just need this information. It could save your life. So if you had no other choice and you were literally sort of staring death in the face and you had to defend yourself, then having that knowledge would be appropriate. So it's not something that we sort of go into wholeheartedly, but it's there and we need to address it as part of the Special Forces military hand-to-hand combat. Okay, first of all we need to look at what we're dealing with here and the different types of guns we may face. So in this case we're looking at an automatic, which means it's going to fire rapidly without it having to be cocked like a revolver. So the slide will move back and forward as it ejects that shell. So any time you can hold at the top of that slide and redirect the muzzle, it won't be able to fire. Just knowing that might save your life. Without knowing any other techniques, just being able to see that and do that. So even if I could just push that aside and make a move, then I successfully defended myself against the gun. It doesn't always mean that I'm going to follow up this and have to put this person away. Just being able to move it away and get away might be just as important. So, depending on what that person wants from you, they're going to ask you something. Nobody will just come up and hold a gun on you. There's a reason for it, and there's a series of events that will lead up to it. So, whatever he asks me, and let's say again he's asking for my money.
Give me money now!
Alright, okay, just relax, alright? So
now, get it in!
So I'm going to bring my hands up in this passive position. Or he might ask me to put my hands up initially, so if he says that...
Put your hands up!
Okay, they're up. Now, they're somewhere near that gun, and that's all important. I don't want them out here, because they're too far away. It takes longer for me to get in towards where the gun is. When my hands are here, I've got an opportunity, and I want to be able to look at it and see it. So you may not have to fake fear, you're probably going to feel that anyway. But well, hang on a minute, mate, look, don't shoot me, it's okay, you can have what you want. Now from here, we're just going to look at, first of all, just redirecting the gun. From here with my left hand, I knock it across this way. Okay? With my right hand, I knock it across this way. And all it does is redirect the muzzle away from me. Now if when I redirect, I hit him, that may be enough to finish it and get away. If I redirect this way, this may be enough to strike him down. Now because we're doing this from a scenario and it's a drill, we can look at this and say, well, a man might be able to pull the trigger. But the idea is if I leave his mind enough, he's never going to see that in time. So this time, because Jake didn't know I was doing it, there's no way that he can pull that trigger finger. Now adrenaline, again, can slow down reflexes. It becomes almost slow motion. So being able to pull this trigger seems a simple act. It suddenly becomes a very difficult thing to do. He's got to send a signal from his brain to his finger to say, pull that trigger. And sometimes, when that's been done, it's very difficult for him to readjust. By that time, I've smashed through with one of those man-stopping techniques to put him away. So just practicing redirecting the gun is a worthy exercise, just to have the confidence. And if we wanted to take it a stage further to disarm, we're going to look at a couple of simple methods of doing it. I'm going to slow these down, first of all. First of all, I'm going to redirect that muzzle away from me. My hand comes on top and turns the gun back towards himself. So now he's staring down that muzzle, which is a problem for him. As soon as I've done this, I'm driving the knee in, and smashing the elbow through the face, and disarming and stepping away. Just do it around this side. And from this position, I'm knocking it off the centre line and turning the weapon back. Knee up, firing through and finishing. Alright, the next technique we're going to look at is the gun aimed towards the forehead. Slightly different level now, so we're going to change our tactics. So from here, once more, my hands are up in this submissive position. When I decide to make my move, I'm going to slightly level drop my body below the line of the gun. Then I make my move to capture the hand. Here, turning the gun back towards my opponent. Once I've got this control, I step in, knee to the groin, and the elbow comes in to make the disarm. Look at this again. The hands are up. Slight level drop. capture the gun, driving it back towards my opponent. Step in, knee to the groin, elbow to the head, and step back. Okay, let's do a couple of things here. Each of these techniques, a man will have his finger in the trigger guard. Now this is important because when we make the twist on the gun, it will break the finger within the trigger guard itself, so we won't be able to pull this. But for safety, when we make the demonstration, the finger's going to be on the outside. But if you remember that, that's an important part of the technique. Okay, just going to look at it a little bit faster. I'm just going to put this in with a little bit of dialogue here, make this more realistic. So now Jake will ask for something and I'll play the whole technique through.
Give me money now.
Okay, just relax.
Get your money now.
Okay, alright, it's in my pocket.
Good, get it.
I'm going to get it.
Come on.
Just relax. Once more slowly. Level drop. When I make my move, this is crucial now, it's the same mindset we've been talking about the whole time, 100% determination. At this point you've made the decision to counter-attack. You need to follow it through. Drive in, elbow. If he's still holding this, for any reason, you continue the striking practice down until he's released the gun. Now note that I'm stepping away. Now even if you don't know what to do with this gun, once you've stepped away, make it look like you do. So if Jake's on the floor, and I step back, I want to step back like I know what's happening here. It's no good standing here, not shaking with that gun, because he's going to get up, and if you're still only fighting him, he'll take you out. So remember, step back, be positive. If you need to say something at this point, it's not to say something like, don't make me fire, I don't want to do this, because that's negative. That's going to make this guy think, I'll get back up and have another go. Stand back and say, give me one excuse to pull the trigger. It's a different mindset, that's positive. It will channel fear into this guy, you know what you're doing. So even inside, if you're shaking, on the outside, be positive. Alright, different angle again. This time the gun is held to the back. Now you may be told to stay exactly where you are, or you may be pushed forward as you're walking to somewhere. The idea is if I can feel that gun actually with contact on my back, then I know I'm close enough to make the disarm. If I'm further away, this is a problem for me. So in this case, this wouldn't be the time to make your move. But for whatever reason, as soon as you feel the gun touch the back, then you know you're in the correct distance. So I might suddenly stop walking myself, so I feel the gun come to my back. And from here, first of all, slowly, my hands are up, I'm going to pivot and redirect the gun away from my body. Okay? Look at this again, I pivot and redirect the gun away. As soon as I've done this, I'm going to capture the arm and break the joint at this point here, disarm it. Then I'm into any of the techniques that we practiced from the back. Strangle, the naked choke, the double eye takedown, taking it down, and then finish it. Stepping away, retrieving the weapon if we need to do so. Look at this again. Remember, the crucial point is feeling the weapon on the back. That's the time you spin and make your move to break the joint. From this position, in we come, and taking him down, and finishing, and stepping away. So with every gun defense, if you decide to make the move, it's got to be 100% commitment. Feel the gun, pivot, redirect the weapon, break the joint, stepping through, lock it in, Alright, same position, but this time I'm pivoting the opposite direction. Now the reason that I'm going to demonstrate this is simply because reality would tell me, I don't know if that man's got the gun in his right hand or his left hand. You know, at the minute, obviously I know Jake's using his right hand. But in a live situation with that pressure, you won't know. So whenever you make your pivot, whether it be inside or outside, it will determine on which arm he's got forward where you end up. So we need to have two techniques. So this time when I pivot inside, I'm going to use this blade edge of my forearm to hit the inside of his wrist. Now just up above the wrist and the forearm, this midpoint here, we've got a reflex nerve there. If I hit it hard enough, it may well disarm the weapon. Now I'm not just going to rely on that, because remember, we're talking about pressure points before, and they may or may not work for you. So as I pivot and redirect, I'm straight down the middle with the palm heel that we used. If for any doubt he's still in a fight, I stamp down onto the arm, take the weapon and finish. Just a little bit more speed now. Now remember, when you make your counter strike, if for any reason you don't hit with enough power or accuracy, you chain the strike on. You know those basic moves, so from here, the palm heel will strike. If that doesn't work, I'm going to step again and use that web hand to the throat. If that doesn't work, I'll step through and hit with the elbow. And continue until he's down. Alright, we're moving on to another situation. This one is a different type of scenario. Really, this is a situation where you know this trigger is probably going to be pulled. This is a last-ditch attempt to save yourself. So in this case, the main thing is going to be 100% commitment and aggression, and hopefully this is going to take you through. Okay, let's look at that scenario.
On your knees!
Just
get the fuck on your knees now!
Relax, okay?
No! Guys!
Okay, let's slow this down slightly, see what's happening. In this situation here, I know now this is imminent, he's going to pull the trigger on me. If I go down to my knees, I'm just giving everything away here. So, I need to begin to lower myself to make the person think I'm going to comply with what they want. At this moment in time, just mentally, they will slightly relax because they see me doing what they've asked. Because he says,
on your knees now!
As I go down, then I'm hitting the gun upwards enough to hit the groin and get in. As soon as he's down, we're over and looking for the big finishes that we've done all the way throughout the tape. We'll look at this again. Speed.
On your knees now! Just get the fuck on your knees!
Okay.
Now! Nice! Nice!
Alright, let's just recap this one more time. This technique, like I said, is his last-ditch resort move, so we need to make sure that we've got it down. So, as soon as I'm told to go down, I will ease down slowly. Then knock the barrel upwards and straight in for the groin attack and the single leg. Right from this position now I'm going forward. As much aggression and power as I can to drive down and finish the technique with all of the big shots until we take the gun away. Okay, we do this one more time at speed.
On your knees now!
Just
get the fuck on your knees!
No!
Nice!
transition.
Okay? Yeah. Alright, moving on to a different area. Again, we're looking at these extreme situations. Now we're dealing with some type of implement used as a garrote around your neck, which is going to obviously affect your blood and airway. So remember, we've mentioned that the blood and airway are areas that you should be attacking as your prime weapons. But also, we've got to be able to defend these areas as well if somebody decides to attack yours. Now, depending on what that is going around the neck, then your strategy will vary slightly. In a moment, we're dealing with a cord in some shape or form. So, we're going to look at these from a few different angles and also talk about some of the points you need to adhere to if this happens. So, slowly, first of all, this is coming around my head. It loops from the front and comes around and tightens up. Now, again, as Tom tightens this up, yeah, you can see that it's going to cut in there pretty quickly. Now, from the front, it's a lot easier to deal with than the rear, simply because he's tied both of his hands up. So when this comes around my neck and begins to tighten, don't struggle and start looking to open this up. This is going to take up too much valuable time and gradually your airway is closing down. Go for those gross motor skills that we've practiced, straight down the middle with the palm heel driving back until the grip loosens. So we're going to stick behind the same solid, tried and tested techniques. It won't matter which of them you use. The only thing you've got to overcome is the psychological fear of this rope going around your neck. So again, comes around, start those techniques, the palm heel, the hammer fist, put the elbow, front the knees, hammer fist again, until you've got yourself out of trouble. Now remember, if somebody gets this around your neck from the front, it will mean that for whatever reason you're switched off. It's very difficult if Tom comes forward with that towards me. I'm not even going to let him have that. I'm going to immediately attack him because I see the danger is there. So you're going to have to be switched off in some shape or form for this person to do this. So there's always going to be that little momentary freeze, the flinch reflex. So maybe I'm looking this way and suddenly it will come and bop this round my neck. And again, I need to react quickly to get away from it. Right, the attack from behind is obviously a lot more dangerous. This will rely once more on how switched on you are when this initially loops over your head. So, the first thing for safety, if it can be done, as this loops over the head, is that your hand will come inside it. This prevents him from tightening it across my neck. So, if this is a sharper, like a wire for instance, although you may take the cut on the arm, you won't take it on the neck. Now remember, going back to military defence, the likelihood of facing somebody silently trying to use this garrote was quite high. So they needed to know what to do in these situations. So, as it comes through, I block it. Then I start on the same weapons that we use to defend against the rear choke. Everything is the same. You keep striking until they release the hold. And out you come. So if it comes over, my hand comes in, drive, strike, down, stamp, strike, and take it down. Do this now a bit more speed. Alright, this time if I don't get my hand in, there's more danger involved. As this goes around the neck now and he tightens this up, it's immediately interfering with the blood flow. Now, I need to do exactly the same thing. Nothing's going to change in the fact that I will start to strike straight away to break up the tightness around the neck. It just depends on how aware you are as he whips that around the neck and puts it on. If you bend your balance, you're going to have to immediately readdress that balance and start striking as we've done previously. As this goes around the neck, this is a word of importance for you. If my head is facing forward at this point, then this is really tight. And to try and get a hand inside, there's a last-ditch attempt to get air, is really difficult. When you turn your head to the side, this large neck muscle protrudes, allowing you a little breathing space there to put your finger in. So if he pulls that now, it's not going to choke me, and it will allow me to get the rest of my hands in if I want to pull this clear of my head. Now the reason I mention this, if you imagine rather than standing you were seated, maybe you were sat in a car and somebody done that to you from behind, you're not going to be able to stand up and move and do all the things that I've just shown you. So in this case, we're looking to get air in. Turn. Use that large neck muscle to protrude through, giving you this little bit of a space to hook your finger in. Once that's done and Tom tightens this, nothing's going to happen. I can get the rest of my hands in and pull that clear of the head. And then you're in position if you need to follow up again to do so. So depending on where you are in relation to this attack, it's worth knowing the way to get yourself some air and create a little bit of breathing space. Alright, moving on again. We dealt with a garrote around the neck, impeding your airway and your breathing. Taking this another stage, what if something like a plastic bag or implement was put over the face of the head? Again, this was a method of suffocating somebody and bringing them under control from behind. Once that is over your face, it is really difficult to get air in. Here's a little trick to show you how you can get air back through. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about this when it's happening. You're just going to have to watch it and then I'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, let's grab that repeat. Okay, as that bag goes over my face and it pulls tight, what I've done was to open my mouth, which stretches the plastic, allowing me to pop the plastic with my fingers and get air back into my lungs. As soon as that air comes back into my lungs, I can fight back straight away. So rather than trying to pull this off my face, which it could be something like cling film, you're not going to get that to happen. But to open and stretch your mouth, it will stretch the plastic firm, allowing you the chance to pop the fingers through. And coming back out. Alright, we're looking at dealing with more than one opponent. Now when we're in this scenario, obviously, again, this is a highly dangerous situation. We need to look at some tactics, first of all, and principles with dealing with more than one person. So the idea is that you're never fighting two people at the same time. They're always going to have an advantage over you. So it's not going to be like one of the old kung fu movies where you've got one guy stood in the middle and about 20 around the outside and he's going to systematically knock them down. In a live multiple attack situation, people will attack at once. They will gang up and they will move in, close your space down, and there'll be 2 or 3 hitting you at the same time. Now the problem with this is, if they've got weapons, you won't know until you felt that weapon hit you. So the idea is that if you feel you're about to be attacked, is that you must launch a counter-attack as fast as you can, so you don't allow anybody to get their hands on you. We're going to look at a few ideas and principles behind this. So the first scenario is that I'm walking along here and these 2 guys have confronted me. and they're closing down my space. So, as they come forward with their dialogue, we're just going to do this slowly. As they come in towards me, they may be asking for something. Yeah? So again, whatever you want. Okay.
Hey, give me one, mate.
Hang on, mate.
Go on,
mate, just relax.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it flat.
Do it flat. Look, just relax. I've got no problem with it. Guys! Okay, let's break this down. Let's look at this again. What I've decided to do, there's a point now where these guys are closing my space down, and I can't effectively go anywhere. The only place I'm going is back, and eventually I'm going to run into a wall. So I need to find an escape route. So I'm going to engage both of them, and both of my hands are controlling the space. I don't want to get too fixated with this guy, otherwise this is the man who's going to blindside me and hit me. And vice versa, if I go to this guy here, this is the man that hits me. So this is where we talked about peripheral vision earlier on and the effects of adrenaline. I need to make sure I keep enough distance so I can watch both of them. So I never want to be taken in by one. When I make my strike, I've decided to pick one person. I've come across and hit with the heel hand. In the same action, I'm rotating the hips and the knife hand hits the neck here. Now at this point, if I feel it's safe to go, I'm out. If for any reason I'm still in the fight, I'll put him down, and I'll move away. But that's only secondary to you escaping. And we look at this again. I'm being closed down. This is like a pincer movement, and again, it does come from warfare. It's where, the enemy will gradually come from both sides and corner you in. It's no different to street self-defense. They're going to corner me down, and eventually what's going to happen is, if I don't make a move now, one of these guys will punch me or grab me, and then we're in, and I'm taken to the floor, and it starts becoming, really seriously bad for me. So this is the point now where I'm going to use 100% aggression. Everything into this strike. We're looking at those man-stopping strikes. At this point, it's no good. Boom, hitting him with a back fist and making his eyes water. This is no good. I could read him a love poem if I want to make his eyes water. At this stage, I want to take him down and out. So from here, 100% aggression. If I can see an exit, I'm gone. I'm not going to wait to see what the response is. Now what we're doing here is just going to make a play on some of these strikes. We've done the palm heel, we've done the knife hand. I could change this around. In this case now, I could use the arc or web hand to the throat. I could use the side palm heel to the jaw here. But you see that these strikes can be used and interchanged. And you will be setting up a lot of momentum for the second strike off your first one. As that drives in, my hips will turn back and strike with the palm heel. Just look at this a little bit more at speed here.
You what?
Well, hang on.
Come on,
it's in my pocket.
Well, come on, do it.
Now, if weapons are involved, this again slightly changes it. So let's say that this time the man has produced the knife and he's threatening me with it. He's looking for my money. Now obviously this guy is the main threat, simply because he's holding a knife. I need to be aware of this man, but if this guy has pulled a knife, he's going to be in charge. He's going to be the one that knows what he's doing. So from here, in relation to how we're stood at this moment in time, where's the best place for me to go? If I go inside here to make a disarm, which I can do, I'm turning my back to the other guy. And then we're in trouble. So as we've done earlier on, we redirect the weapon. This first one, I'm just totally going to disengage. And the best thing I can do is run from here. So when he asks for my money,
Come get your money out
oh, it's in
now.
my pocket, I'll get
Boy,
it.
let's go.
I'm out and I'm away. I've moved him across into his partner, which momentarily blocks his avenue. So as I move here and off balance him, suddenly they're pushed to this side, allowing me the exit that I need to escape. So the idea is survival against multiple opponents. It's not about standing there and fighting them, whatever your tactic may be. Okay? So again, this quick knock across sometimes may be enough to disarm, but you see how it's left him exposed. Okay, let's come back and do that. See this off angle, leaves him exposed for the kick if I need to do this and make my exit. Now, if I find for whatever reason, maybe this is a wall, I'm not going that way and I'm stuck in here, then I may have to attack. So once again, it's got to be 100% commitment and just be all over these two people before they get a chance to hit me. So this time my defense is inside, it's knocking this away, which opens up, you can see my palm here, which is going to come through there. From this position then, I'm making my way out. Again, remember, action is faster than reaction. There's no way this guy will get up again to use the knife. And because his partner here is so confident he's in control, there's going to be a momentary lapse in his concentration. And that's the time that I take advantage of this. So from here, try to dash through and make my escape. Now note, I'm always moving. There's never a time I'm going to stand still. All the time I'm thinking of escaping, and I just happen to be taking these guys with me as I'm moving. I don't want to stand here, you know, and pose and do this sort of thing. They're going to be all over me, okay? So when I move and down, I hit him, I come across, and I'm moving all the time. So if Tom gets back up, he's going in, and I'm running. So from the front, attack the attacker. Never get yourself cornered or backed up. The worst type of scenarios we can look at ourselves in is when this guy has come behind me and he's doing this, and this guy's holding a knife on me. This is absolutely worst case. And from here, if I've allowed myself to get into this situation, I've got problems. So from here, it's last ditch attempt. If I can work and get my arms in to grab that, I can do that, knock it away, I can do this. But then, push him, get out and get away. Now it's not going to look sophisticated, it's not going to look particularly nice. What it's going to do is work. So from here I knock that away. Maybe I palm here or kick the groin. Smash, head, elbow, coming out, getting away. And moving away. So all I'm doing is working on those gross motor skills, the techniques that we've got confidence in to work. Knock it away, palm heel, maybe the kick to the groin, elbow, elbow, out, hammer fist, making the escape. As soon as I try anything like this, I'm going down, I've got a problem, I can't hold on, this guy's going to get up again and they're going to finish me. So it's the speed of hands, here, it knocks him straight down, yeah? Out and get it away as quickly as possible. Alright, to conclude this section,